Everybody, here we are live. Just decided I ought to wash my glasses so I could see what I was doing. Hope you all are doing well today. It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And it's a beautiful day to make strawberry shortcake. So that is what we're going to do. Okay, get myself sorted here. Yeah, so what we're going to do is make some little biscuits with this, flour and all that. But we're also going to make a whipped topping, which is whipped aquafaba. So aquafaba is the liquid that's in a can of beans. Usually we use chickpea liquid because it's clear. It's kind of white. So if you're making something that looks like whipped cream, you want to use the chickpea aquafaba. But it's just a really interesting liquid. I don't know whoever realized you could whip it up and it looks just like whipped cream, but somebody figured that out, some genius. So we're going to do that. I'm going to start with that because it has to whip for quite a long time. So I'll get going with the aquafaba. So what I'm going to do is use my KitchenAid stand mixer because it does take 10 minutes and I don't want to just stand here with my mixer. So I'm going to use my stand mixer and I've put it in another room so it won't just sit here behind me and make a lot of noise for 10 minutes. But this is it's really simple to make whipped aquafaba. I feel like it took me a while to even try it. It just sounded so weird. But, it really works. It works beautifully. So here I have some chickpea liquid. Actually, this is left from when I cooked some chickpeas in my Instant Pot. I saved the liquid, and actually I froze it, but this is not frozen. And we're going to use a half a cup of the chickpea liquid. I originally thought I could get by with a quarter cup because I didn't want to make a whole lot, but the quarter cup it's not deep enough in the bowl for the mixer, for the attachment to reach. So I'm going to use half a cup. Okay. I'm also going to go ahead and put the tartar sauce in. I'm sorry, tartar sauce, cream of tartar. It's not tartar sauce. That's totally different. This is cream of tartar. This adds a little bit of acid, which helps the stuff get fluffy. And I'm going to put in a quarter teaspoon, tiny, tiny bit. And then I am going to leave you for a minute because I've got to go into the other room and attach this to my mixer, which is right around the corner. But I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. Then we'll go and get it. I'll show you what it looks like. Hi, Belize. Thanks for singing. Hello. Appreciate that. Yeah, and after 5 minutes, I'll go get it, and we'll add some sugar and vanilla to it, and then we'll do another 5 minutes, and then you'll be amazed that it looks exactly. Actually, what it looks like is egg whites that have been, beaten egg whites, but it's pretty amazing. I don't know whoever thought of that. Okay, so let's start with these biscuits. I've preheated the oven to 425. Oops, I should make it 450, so let me bump it up a little bit. Yeah, we want it nice and hot. First thing we're going to do is sour some plant milk. This kind of replaces buttermilk in baking recipes. So I have a cup of plant milk. It's actually a mixture of almond and soy milk. And then we're going to add some apple cider vinegar. I'm going to add a tablespoon. So on Thursday, I made lemon poppy seed pancakes. And they had some of the same ingredients that we're going to use for this biscuit. Okay, so we're going to let that sit a minute, and we'll measure out the dry ingredients. So for the dry ingredients, I'm going to use this whole wheat pastry flour, which is a lovely, hey Anita, nice to see you. Hey Melissa, happy Mother's Day, a day early. Yeah, I'm going to use this whole wheat pastry flour. I really, really like it. It's just a nice light flour, but it's still a whole grain. I am not sure that I have a cup and a half. It's kind of hard to find, and I'm just about out of it, so I might add a little bit of extra. Yeah, so that's a cup. Yeah, I'm going to need to get another kind of flour. I thought that might be a problem. I'm just going to add a little bit of regular whole wheat flour to make my extra half cup. Oh, I'm almost out of that too. Time for a Whole Foods order. Okay, there's my cup and a half of wheat flour. And I'm going to add half a cup of almond flour. So almond flour is just almonds that have been ground. You can make it in your food processor, or you can purchase it. So this is going to add, oh my gosh, I'm almost out of that too. All right, that's good enough. It's almost half a cup. Yeah, or you can purchase almond flour. Okay, the other things we're going to add to this are some baking powder and a little bit of baking soda. So I want, I'm going to wear my tablespoon. Here's my tablespoon measure. I want a tablespoon baking powder. So this will make sure it rises. Just trying to get a tablespoon out of there. So that's for the rise. And then we're also going to add half a teaspoon of baking soda. All of my baking ingredients are practically empty. Okay, and then we're going to add a dash of nutmeg, just a dash. That's a technical term. I'll make 2 dashes. And we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to use regular table salt for the salt. Okay, there's my timer, which says that's been going 5 minutes. I'm going to go and get the bowl so you can see what it looks like after 5 minutes. Okay, it is quite fluffy. It's all fluffed up. Oh, I don't know if you can, it doesn't want to come out with this spoon. At this point, you might think, that's enough. I don't need to do it anymore. Just look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's actually quite a bit like egg whites. In fact, I've seen people use this as a meringue, like on a lemon meringue pie or key lime pie, something like that. You can put it on the top of the pie and you can bake it. It'll turn a little brown, just like egg whites will. We're actually going to whip this up some more. The more air you put in it, the longer it will stay fluffy. So the only other things I'm going to put in at this point are vanilla and some sugar. So I need a teaspoon of vanilla. So this is for flavoring because this whipped aquafaba has no flavor whatsoever. It's like eating nothing. And actually it is kind of nothing because it's basically air at this point. We're going to add confectioner's sugar. Now it depends on how sweet you like it. I don't like it really sweet, so I'm just going to add a 1/4 cup. I thought I had a measure here. Hold on. I'm just going to add a 1/4 cup. If I were whipping this up right here in the kitchen, I would add this gradually. But I'm not. I'm going to do it in the other room, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in all at once. Doesn't make too much of a difference. I'll stir it in. Now it smells good because of the vanilla. All right, now I'm going to go put this back in my mixing machine. So I'll be right back. Okay, timer. All right. So where were we? We were mixing the dry ingredients, and I have them all in there. I'm going to add the soured milk. Well, first I'll mix this up a little bit. I'm going to add this soured milk, which was plant milk mixed with apple cider vinegar. Okay, and there is our biscuit dough. These are going to be drop biscuits. Yeah. So, you know, biscuits, regular biscuits are usually made with butter or lard, Crisco, something like that, some kind of fat. And we're not using any kind of fat, except there is some fat in the almond flour, because it is just almonds. Okay, here we have a dough. Looks a little wet to me, and I'm wondering if it's because I did not put as much regular flour. Well, I did add the whole wheat flour, didn't I? It looks a little wet. We'll see, won't we? I'm going to go ahead and put this on the baking sheet. I want to get, wondering what I should use for that. I think I'll just use some spoons. I'm going to drop it on the baking sheet and then it'll bake for 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, don't know if you all can see. I'll start down at this end so you can see. So when these are baked, they'll rise a little bit. They're not going to be, you know, a perfect circle the way biscuits are at I don't know, Biscuitville. But they also have not a lot of fat, and they're whole grain. So you could even say, unless I forgot some sort of ingredient, but I did not, you could even say they're pretty darn healthy. Okay, I'm putting, trying to get as many on here as I can while leaving some room. I think that's good for now. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 11 biscuits here. I'm going to put them in the oven. Oops, cancel. So I forgot I had the timer going for the whipped aquafaba. So I had kind of goofed up there a little bit because I turned it off to start the timer for the biscuits. So I'm going to start another timer for the biscuits. Okay. All right. So while we're waiting for those things to finish doing what they're doing, we'll clean some strawberries. Yeah, so I got some beautiful strawberries in my CSA share this week. Really pretty, you know, of course, very local, just down the road from me. Let me wash these off, and then I will trim them up and slice them. Kathy says she started a list for me. That would be very helpful. So I'm just going to trim the strawberries and slice them. I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to these, just a tablespoon, because that will help them make some juice. So they'll have a little bit of a syrup going with them. That one's got a brown spot. So the aquafaba, I'm not sure I mentioned this. It doesn't keep a long time. I made some yesterday, and we had this last night because I was testing it out. And then I put the rest in the fridge, and this morning it sort of separated. So you had an airy, foamy part, and you had a kind of liquidy part, and it wasn't appealing. So I think, but I have heard, though I haven't done this, that it freezes beautifully. So because this recipe, this half a cup of aquafaba makes about a quart of whipped topping, to me it makes a lot of sense to freeze some. I'm not sure how much I would freeze at a time. I might freeze, use some of it now and then separate it into 2 containers and freeze 2 containers. So I would have, maybe a cup and a half or something in each container, just to see how that works. I am often experimenting with new things and cooking things. Okay, that was the timer for the aquafaba. So I'll go and get it. Be right back. Okay, back with this. It's all whipped up. It's quite amazing. I don't know if you can, trying to get the light so you can see it's very light and fluffy. Just scoop out a big spoonful. Look at that. And like I said, it makes at least a quart, probably more than a quart. I'm going to see what it tastes like. It's just, for me, just sweet enough. And it was just a quarter cup of confectioner's sugar that we put in here, for this whole big bowl full. The vanilla gives it a really nice flavor. I think it's pretty wonderful. Wonderful stuff. But 10 minutes is the right amount of time to whip it. Okay, I was going to add a spoonful of sugar to these strawberries. What's happened to all my spoons? All right. Okay, here's this tablespoon. That's all we're going to add. So the recipe calls for 3 cups of sliced strawberries. That's if you're making maybe 6 servings, so you'd have 6 biscuits. I'm really just making enough for 2 here, so I really don't even want to add. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of sugar. I really think I just need to add about a teaspoon with these little bits of strawberries that I cut up here. No more than that. I don't like really sweet foods. I like some sweet. I like sweetness as a flavor. It adds adds a lot as a flavor when it's combined with sour or bitter or umami. It's always nice to have an extra little element of flavor in there. And but I don't like really sweet. I shouldn't say I don't like really sweet things. Once in a while, Ben and Jerry's, Rocky Road, dairy-free, plant-based, dairy-free ice cream is really good. I'm going to take a peek at the biscuits because they have about 5 more minutes to go. Just want to see how they're doing. Oh, they look awesome. They look awesome. So right now I'm kind of finished with what I need to do for preparation. I might go ahead and bake up the rest of the biscuit dough. There's no point in just letting this sit. So I'm going to get a piece of parchment paper. I bake with parchment paper. And I'm going to just cut it in half because I just have a little bit of dough here. So I know I'm not going to need a whole sheet. I keep these little half sheets. I just keep them handy in case I want to make something in the toaster oven. So my parchment paper, I didn't use it for a long time because I thought it's kind of a waste to use this and then do you just throw it away. But it keeps my baking sheets in like new condition and things don't burn on it. And I'm pretty careful about when I use it. So I've talked myself into using parchment paper. So I'm just going to stir up or put out the rest of this biscuit dough so I can go ahead and bake it. Now, these biscuits, we won't eat them all at once, obviously. How many did I make before? 11. I'm just making 2 more here, 12, 13. But they would freeze just fine. And, they would keep quite a while in the fridge. There's not a lot in these to spoil. I found that this type of food does not spoil often because it's got an acidic component to it. The things that do spoil tend to be, for me, beans. When I just cook beans and, I store leftover beans in a container, I usually have to get rid of those after 3 or 4 days. But everything else just seems to just last forever. Well, not forever, but I don't really have to worry about it. And then my way of knowing if something is no longer edible is just to smell it. If something doesn't smell right, you shouldn't eat it. So I'm going to stick this in the oven. Okay, so the biscuits are all going. The aquafaba's done, the strawberries ready. Just waiting. So while we're waiting, I'll just say about something else I'm doing this afternoon. I'm taking a Zoom cooking class from Chef Julia Dunaway on Indian foods. I don't know if any of you follow Chef Dunaway or know about her. I forget her website. It might be something like chefjuliadunaway.com, but she's really active on Facebook too. She does a lot of online plant-based cooking classes, and this afternoon she's doing one on Indian foods. I'm really excited about that because I love Indian food, and I can never make it to my satisfaction. You know, I don't know if I just don't have the right spices. That could be it, but I'm excited to learn a little more. Hold on, I'll get. Got my recipe. So she sent out the recipe, so we're going to cook along. So we're going to make a palak paneer with crispy tofu. That's spinach and tofu. We're going to make a quick biryani, which is brown rice and vegetables. We're going to make a masoor dal, which is a red lentil curry. And then she's going to make a chana masala. Okay, that's the timer for the biscuits. She's going to make a chana masala, which I will not. It's a chickpea curry. And I've been eating so many chickpeas lately. I'm just going to pass on that, but I'm going to make the other Indian dishes. They're all plant-based, no oil. So I find her very inspirational. Okay, let me get these biscuits, look at the biscuits and see if I think they're done. Okay, sorry, I had to set the timer again for the other biscuits. So I think these biscuits are done. Underneath has got a little bit of a golden brown color. Top has a nice golden color. They feel dry. They're not soft like they would be if they weren't cooked. I'm going to take out a couple of them to get them to cool. And we can assemble the shortcake. So normally I would let these cool a little bit. So let's see if they slice all right. I'm just going to cut it in half this way. Another way to tell if it's done, right? Is to look at the inside. They're really nice inside. So I think I'm getting a little bit of a browner color to these because of the whole wheat flour that I used. Remember, I used about maybe a third of a cup of whole wheat flour. Those are nice. I'm going to go ahead and make two, even though today I am here all by myself, so I'm afraid I might have to eat both of them. Okay, and we'll arrange some strawberries on top. I'm going to do a couple layers. We'll do strawberry topping, biscuit strawberry topping. Okay, now we'll put a little topping on that. Oh my goodness, I have so much of this topping. A lot of topping. Honestly, I probably should research who ever thought of whipping up chickpeas and making aquafaba. Research that. I'm just going to use my finger because it's just me, right? It's just me eating it. Well, I said I was going to layer it. So I actually put everything on top of all four, so I can just layer it like that. Okay. Then the last thing I will do is see if there's any juice in here. Maybe try to drizzle a little bit. There's a little bit juice. Whoops. Strawberries fell out. Okay, we're ready to eat it now. Anyway, I think these are quite lovely. Strawberry shortcakes. It's hard to believe they are actually no oil and no cream, and you know, they're all just plant-based and they're pretty healthy. I'm afraid this is going to tip over. I'm going to have to cut into it. Okay, let's see. Sorry you can't be here to help me taste this. These are so good. These are like it's a perfect kind of combination of flavors and textures. And they're not super sweet. They're just sweet enough. So you wouldn't think, oh, I shouldn't eat this because it's like a dessert. To me, it's more like I don't know, it's almost like a bread with some strawberries on it. But it's not real bready. It has wonderful flavor. Oh, I'm just going to keep going here. Wow. It's really good. Awesome. I'll have to save some for my husband. So thanks for everybody for being here. I hope you have a nice Mother's Day tomorrow, or you know, at least it should be a very nice Sunday. It's really pretty here. We've got lots of birds at the bird feeder and bluebirds in the bluebird house, and it's just spring. It's just really wonderful. On Tuesday, I think what I have on the schedule is carrot dogs, which are interesting idea. Another interesting idea, like the aquafaba is an interesting idea, but they really do work. They're very tasty. So hope to see you back, and thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. Have some strawberry shortcake.